pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Then you may lead us in prayer.
Okay. Dear Lord, we want to thank you for allowing us to gather here today. We ask that you please be with us as we go about the business on this agenda. On this Veterans Day, we want to thank you, dear Lord, for all those men and women who have served in our armed forces, and we ask that you please be with those serving now. These things we ask in thy name. Amen.
Call the meeting to order and have a roll call.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Here.
Councilwoman Biggs.
Here.
Councilwoman Van Treese.
Here.
Councilman Hart.
Here.
Councilman Propper.
Here.
Line item 5, approval of the minutes.
That said something to Michael about the agenda, me wanting to put curbing on the next month's agenda. That was just a misunderstanding.
Are there any additions or corrections? Bill stand approved as read. We move to line item 6, police report. Chief is off head shoulder. He's back here. Any questions? If not, we'll move on to line item 7, fire report. Fire chief's not here, and we do not have a report, so we'll move on to line item 8, financial statements. Got all your financial statements there, and sent out to Wilson Bank and Trust. Any questions? No questions. We'll move on to line item 9, city recorder's report.
The first item was the email that I sent you guys about the CDBG. We haven't applied or anything. I was just letting you guys know that they're sending it out and the applications are being accepted for any of that stuff. If anybody's interested, if you are, just let me know and then we'll dig into it further. The other one was the use of internet agreement with the election commission. Is she?
Yes.
Yeah. Do you want to address that, or?
I mean, there's not a lot to address.
I was just going to let them know that you guys are wanting to use it, and we're waiting on that agreement from DTC for everyone to sign. Haven't gotten that yet. But I talked to a couple people at DTC as well as you, and I don't foresee any issues. Of course, something catastrophic can always happen, but it's not very likely. They're just wanting to use our internet connection for the election to set up next door.
We need the feed is all we need.
Right.
It will be separated
Yeah.
once, because, we don't want any of your stuff, and you don't need to be in ours, so.
Yeah.
We've got the IT guys to do whatever's necessary to make sure it's separate.
Michael, what exactly is the agreement?
I
What are
haven't-
they wanting to do?
They're just wanting to tap in and use our internet because they can't use a wireless one. It'll have to be hardwired into ours. And whenever they join, there'll still be a firewall between them and our server.
So during elections?
Yes.
When they're
Right.
conducting the elections,
Right.
they want to use our
We
hardwired
want
service?
Yes.
to do an early voting site over
Yep.
here. Okay, I
early
didn't know if
voting.
you knew that.
Yeah.
Right.
But that's what it is. And I already talked to DTC, and there'll still be a firewall between where they join in and our stuff too. So, like I said, worst case scenario, something could always happen, but it's not very likely. So, and whenever I get that agreement, I'll either bring it back up or send it to you guys or whatever. So,
Ms. Gibbs, do you need approval for that, or is that just something?
I think the DTC waiver sort of.
yeah. Basically, what it is we'll all agree that they use it, and we won't hold DTC liable if something stupid does happen. So,
I was just
But-
here if anybody had any
Yeah.
questions that I could possibly answer.
but like I said, I ain't got the agreement yet. So,
So
I'm just gonna make y'all aware of what it was.
City Hall you want City Hall to be an early voting site,
Yes.
and then in order for that to occur, you have to hardwire into the internet connection here for them.
We have to have a feed.
How long does that last, early voting?
It's 5 to 20 days before the election, any election. We will not be over here that entire time. We've got about four and a half days. We're testing the waters to see how successful it will be all next year. So we've got 3 elections next year, and we'd like to do it before each election.
So it will be for all county elections,
Yes.
not just municipality.
Yeah.
You can come and vote for
Yes.
everything.
It's
Okay.
gonna be an early voting site, just like the Turner Building. If you live in Chestnut Mound and we're driving by, you could stop during the early voting period and vote here. So it's open to the entire county. We're just trying to allow some more convenient sites for voters. This is one of my biggest areas for election day. So we were just trying to see if we could be a little bit more accommodating.
How many you gonna have in the county?
I mean.
How many early voting are you gonna have in the county?
People or sites?
Sites.
Well, we've always had the Turner Building, and then this one will be our second
Just be
one.
2 then, okay.
And it will not be open the entire time the Turner Building is.
Okay.
Like I said, just 4.5 days.
Any more questions? Thank you for coming. Got all your guidance. Line item 10, new business resolution 2019-11-11, establishing audit committee.
Council members, last month, I had presented a draft resolution to the council to establish a 3-person audit committee for the town of Gordonsville. We were required to send that to the state comptroller for their approval. We did that, they approved it. So it is now before you to consider. I would probably see, possibly, not to presume anything, not to direct the council to do what it wants to, but you would look at 3 different actions here. 1, to approve the resolution. Secondly, you will have to form the committee with who's going to be on it. And thirdly, I would recommend that you just pass a standing motion that any existing or future complaints related to finance be referred to that audit committee. So if anything comes in, that's where it goes first. Your resolution indicates that it's 3 members comprised of the mayor, board, and alderman. It also allows for a citizen of the town of Gordonsville. I would probably recommend, pursuant to what most of your other committees are, that you at least have 2 of your aldermen on there. And there's nothing wrong with having 3 if that's what the council chooses to do. But the first thing before you would be the resolution as written. The state comptroller had a few minor edits, nothing that made a big difference and nothing I saw a problem with, and we've made those in what's before you. So, first order of business would be to pass the resolution, if council so chooses.
Need a motion?
I'll make a motion to drop 2019-11-11 to establish an audit committee for the town of Gordonsville.
Second?
Second.
Roll call.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Councilwoman Biggs.
Yes.
Councilwoman Van Treese.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Prophet.
Yes.
Motion carries.
At this point, you would staff, I guess, the audit committee or place personnel in there. It's staggered 3-year terms, so you would probably put the first one on for 1 year, the next person on for 2 years, and the final individual on for 3 years. And then after that, it would stagger out for 3-year terms. So you would probably open the floor for nominations for that 1-year term to start with.
Open the floor for nomination for a 1-year term on the audit committee.
I nominate Miss Barbara Van Treese.
I would like to abstain. I feel like that would be a conflict for me.
I nominate Mr. Michael Hart.
Mr. Michael Harp has been a nomination. Are there any more nominations? Nomination ceased, need to be elected by acclamation.
Next would be the 2-year term.
I nominate Jessica Biggs.
Jessica Biggs has been nominated. Are there any other nominations? If not, the nomination ceased, she be elected by acclamation.
And finally, there's a 3-year term initially that needs to be filled.
I nominate Charlie Prophet. I'm an employee. I'm kind of omitted, so.
Yeah.
Well, the resolution
Right.
took care of that. Mr. Potts and I talked about that.
Charlie, you've been nominated. Are there any more nominations? There's not any. Nomination ceased, you'll be elected by acclamation.
Yeah.
I fired all I'd fire.
And then if the council would be so inclined, and again, I don't want to presume anything, but perhaps you would consider, go ahead and make a motion that any existing or future complaints related to finance, go ahead and be referred to that audit committee.
You did a motion.
I do, if they're inclined to do it. It'd be helpful.
I'd like to make a motion that all the complaints
Related to finance.
related to finance go to the audit committee for the town of Gordonsville.
Need a second?
I'll second.
Motion been made and seconded. Any further comment? That bad comment goes to the audit committee. Now roll call.
Vice Mayor Potts.
Yes.
Councilwoman Biggs.
Yes.
Councilwoman Van Treese.
Yes.
Councilman Hart.
Yes.
Councilman Prophet.
Yes.
Motion carries.
And I lied to you, there's a fourth thing. I need to set the first meeting of the committee. Looking, whenever, but maybe first week of December, sometime in there.
Down for whatever.
Mondays,
Be the Monday
December
before-
2nd.
That'd be the Monday before the council meeting.
yes.
Will we get a reminder?
Yes, I sent you.
There has, and part of the reason for that time, there also has to be a public notice about the meeting. It's still a public meeting, so.
Like several of them?
Is this gonna be every month meeting, or is this just gonna be?
First order of business will be
Quarterly,
to
or-
elect the chairman of it, and then you can decide whether you want to meet quarterly, like, say, the beer board does. There may be times that you receive a complaint that you have to call a meeting in the middle of that, but you could at least set up quarterly meetings. But there is something I need to address, so I would ask that we go ahead and set one. Is 6 o'clock agreeable? with-
That's fine.
Monday,
Second.
December 2nd at 6 p.m.
And did you say something about getting a town, like somebody from the town to assist us on the,
You could have.
okay.
You don't,
We don't
it's a
have
three
to.
per, you don't
Okay,
have to.
Okay.
Jamie, I have a question pertaining to that. I was reading over this. Would we have a particular individual accounting wise or somebody that we could reference to if it's something that we,
You can direct that anybody that you want. You have an auditor, Benji Bailey, that comes here each year. He's an accountant. You certainly have
John Poole, yeah.
John Poole. I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
John
I'm sorry.
Poole?
You could have Mr. Poole come in if you had a particular question,
Okay.
or you have every right to hire an accountant if that's what you need. So,
Will you be
yes, sir.
present at all meetings?
I don't know.
I would recommend. Yeah.
Yes, cause
This board, this committee doesn't have any powers. They report back to the,
They make referrals back to the full body. Yes, sir. It's a lot like your planning commission. In fact, they make recommendations. Now, the planning commission has some certain independent authority that they've got, but the state highly recommends this, and it's time for it.
Is there, I don't know, like guidelines and procedures for all that?
Mhm.
Okay.
I'll have
Okay.
copies of the statute for you.
Okay.
Anything else?
I would add a comment with that. I had a local individual, I won't call his name, that had reached out for interest to be on it, but due to some situations, family, that he had chose not to. So I just wanted to add that with it. He'd been really good, I think, to have been on it too. So.
With that initial one-year term,
Mm-hmm.
it wouldn't take very long to put, if somebody was interested in the council.
Okay.
Soft field. So you'll have to fill that spot very, well, you'll fill one every year, but that will come up fairly quickly.
Anything else on line item 10? Line item 11, old business. You've got Kirby up there, John. You said you didn't want to discuss that.
no, that was just a misunderstanding. I never did want that on there. It was just a misunderstanding from last month.
We haven't heard anything from it anyways. Any other old business? Need a motion to adjourn.
I'll make that one.
Second.
I'll second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.